Oh my gosh, I'm coming. I'm here. I'm here and I'm coming. Okay. I just took both Shaba and Dutton suddenly became like really, really needy and needed to like go out like now, even though they'd already been out at like 6 this morning. But okay, whatever. It's 9. So took them out for their poop skis, which of course they spent their sweet time. And did they spend their sweet time, or am I just feeling like they spent their sweet time because I was watching the clock to get back here to all of you? Good morning. And then Dutton, so lore on Dutton. He's our new dog. For anyone just joining us, hold on. Whoa. Hi. Okay, so lore on Dutton. He's our new dog. We picked him up end of June is when we got Dutton. And Dutton comes from the streets. And this is his first time with us living like with people in a home. So there's been a pretty steep learning curve for him. He's doing pretty good. But what's been interesting to watch is sort of like, and this is our second secondhand dog. Shaba was also a secondhand dog. So like we've got experience with sort of how timelines can play out with these guys in regards to like, you know, everyone has this 3-3-3 rule, right? Like the 3 days until they feel like you're not going to like kill and eat them. And then like the 3 weeks until they this, and the 3 months until they're fully bloomed. And I'm like, that is such a way too short timeline. Shaba took like 9 months until I really felt like we like had our dog, like we knew him and he knew us, and like trust had been built, and like, 'cause they will trust us and everything. It just takes this big amount of time. So with the journey with Dutton has been really interesting because at first, I mean, he remained in the terrified stage for a lot longer than Shaba did. And then all of a sudden, one day, he woke up and decided that this was his home and he was going to defend it with his blood. It's like he swung so far in the other direction and went like pure like reactivity. He literally sits on the top of a chair in our bedroom looking out the window all day in case he sees like a bird or like a leaf or an actual person. The alarms go off, just loses his mind. So we've been working on that, right? Like, hey, like trying to teach a dog, hey, I have this. I don't need you to have this, right? Like you're cool. But he almost went from like pure fear to deciding this is his home now, and then became like hyper vigilant to defend his home with the very essence of himself. So we're coming back in from the field right now where they've already taken their sweet time pooping. I got poo bags. I'm managing like 2 layers of coat because it's drizzly out there. I'm looking at the time like, come on. And then as we're going back in at the moment, this very sweet man with a stroller and a very sweet dog is coming past us. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like he's kind of between us and our gate. And I'm like, oh, so I'm like, I call out in advance and I'm like, hey, the little one, little sketchy. Just so you know, like, I know just for your dog, whatever, right? Like I'm one of those that will be like, no, I don't yell like not friendly. I'm just like the little one's vocal, the little one's vocal. And Shaba couldn't care less about any dog ever. And so, I managed to get them in our gate, which is stuck, by the way. Our fence out back is new, and this is its first rainy season, and the wood has swelled, and now I can't get the door open to save my life. And I'm trying to kick this door open while I'm in this outfit with 2 coats on. We're bundled, the dog poo, I'm kicking a fence, and I'm wearing Aaron's like full plastic Crocs. Oh no. Oh, with my absolute like gangster little dog just losing his mind. I'm trying to get him in the fence. I'm like, and this man's like stopped and waiting on his gentle, peaceful morning walk, AirPods in. I'm trying to tell him he can't even hear me. He's really listening to something and enjoying his morning. Oh my Lanta. So I get in the gate. I think I get in the gate. I get the gate. I boost the dogs. Get in the gate. His extremely well-behaved dog, by the way, is judging me. And then I get these dogs into the gate, and as I'm going to close the gate, still on the leash, Dutton takes off like a shot back out the gate and goes straight for this guy's dog. And I'm grabbing this leash string. I'm pulling it back into the yard. And I'm like, no, like I'm trying to like, oh, my Lanta. Like he just swung all of a sudden one day. He woke up and he was like Batman. He was going to defend the entirety of our neighborhood from everything. Oh my goodness. Didn't see this one coming. He was so quiet at first because he was living in fear. And suddenly the fear turned into, it's probably still fear-based. We're working on it. We'll get there. It's only been, what, 5 months? Has it even been 6 months? June to July. No, it's been 5 months. We just hit the 5-month anniversary with Dutton. I got at least another 4 months until we really truly know this dog. But anyway, there's all my stories. And then I came in here and I'm throwing lights and I charged everything because the light died yesterday. Where is my coffee? I see it. Okay, hold on. I dropped a coffee off before I left. We're here. And it brings me joy this morning to, hold on. Okay. To show off this mug today. This is a mug that my sister gave to me with the express instruction that I was never to show anybody this mug because she had smudged the S. Do you see? Do you see these crimes committed against pottery that I was so expressly told I can never show anybody? Oh no, the S is smudged. Look at that. I'm one to talk. You should see the bats I won't let out of this shop. That's probably perfectly fine. But no, they're not. Show me your knits, baby. So I use it all the time and I show it all the time. And I'm like, come and get me, Nicole. What are you going to do about it? You gonna drive to my house right now and make me stop? Now it's going to live forever on the internet. So have fun guessing my password. She actually probably knows all my passwords. She could come in and make this go away. I wear my husband's shoes to put out the garbage, which looks hilarious because he wears a size 13 shoe. What size shoe are you? I look ever so slightly hilarious because I wear a lady size 10 and my hubby wears a men's like 11. So there is like a 2 size difference. I think that is. I think I wear the equivalent of like a men's 8.5 and he wears an 11. Yeah. So there's like a size difference there, but so I look slightly enhanced, but not full clown shoes. It could almost be believable. Like I had just been born with disproportionately large feet, but it doesn't necessarily look like I'm clomping around in my husband's shoes, which I think gives the overall effect just something special, you know? It's as I'm swathed in 2 layers of hoodie, getting blown around out there. Let's go look. Let's go look. Happy Saturday. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Hi. Look at this. You're all here. Fleeper's here. 7-year-old wanted to join. Good morning, 7-year-old. My dogs are crazy. Okay. Good morning. Your hoodie. Oh, yeah. Peep the side boob. Look what we're doing. Look what we're doing there. Yeah. Yeah. We have this on a sticker. Marina from Batty Fibers. So see, we've got some embroidered flowers. I could have just grabbed the sticker. Whatever. We've got some embroidered flowers on a knit sweater. And there's my favorite eyeball monster friend from my logo. Marina drew that and I've got it on a sticker. And then we sent it to, what's her pickle? Gray and Wild, Amanda at Gray and Wild. So Stash Dashers, you know who Amanda from Gray and Wild is. She does all the printing for the Dashers and all that kind of stuff. She's also a home-based business about 45 minutes away from me. She lives over in Bramble Ridge's Hood. So she does the hoodie. So I sent her this logo. I was like, how do we incorporate this shape onto a wearable? I really want to wear this shape. I want to wear this art. But how do I wear it? Where does it go? And then, of course, Amanda's like, it goes right there. And she places it, and I really like it. And then she put this on my sleeve so that I always remember where I work. And I'll never forget, 'cause it's on my sleeve. But I liked the... I thought that was kind of cute. That was kind of cute placement. And there's nothing else on the sweater just this cute friend, and I love it. And then with my Melly knits. So I had two made, one for me and one for cute little Emily. And we wear them to work because we have workwear. So that's what we do. And anytime I go out in public, it's interesting how many people ask about why eyeballs. Why are there? What's with the eyeball? Like, is it like what is this thing? I get asked that all the time. In the logo too, on Dashel with his three eyes. I have no idea. I just think it's great. I don't know. It didn't like consciously come from somewhere that suddenly I was going to be defined by adding eyeballs to everything. I love it. I love my logo. I'll never forget that being designed. I'm in the water office, aka my bathtub. Oh my gosh. Hi, my name is Melly Knits. Melissa. Melly. And I have a wool business called Melly Knits. And if you're new here, that's what I do. And welcome to my YouTube. There, guys, I did a welcome. Okay, let's continue on with the story. I was in the water office. I've acknowledged that there could be new people here, and you are welcome to this space. Hello. Okay, so I've got, I'm in the water office doing my thing. And Aaron is sitting just over here, and he's got his iPad that he can draw on with his like little Apple Pen thing. And I'm describing to him this beautiful monster where we've got this wildflower field. We've got this like imagine like a bouquet. I love wildflowers, but in with the wildflowers is this like creature, like a creepy tentacle-y creature thing. Not necessarily like an octopus. I don't know. This one is sure, but it's got claws on the end. You know, there's like a claw with little claw things, and all the suction cups are actually eyeballs. I just love it. So he drew it. And then cute little nurse daughter, she came in and added her flair and some refinement within the flowers. And then eventually I sent the whole thing to Marina, who kind of like cleaned up the lines, if that makes sense. Marina is from Batty Fibers, awesome artist, and cleaned up all the lines. So kept the original art that Aaron and my daughter drew, my husband and my daughter drew, but then she cleaned up all the lines, and that was phase one. And then phase two, she colored it. And so now I've got this Melly Knits logo that I love, or the intro even to these videos with the sound. That was me making the sound in the intro. I hid in my closet one day and I recorded like a voice note of me going because I said to Marina, I want like a YouTube intro where just those little tentacles move and it makes this sound. And then she's like, well, you got to send me that sound. So now I have a very professional YouTube intro where I'm going and the little tentacles are going, and I love him. I love it. Okay. That's everything you never asked to know, because someone said they like my hoodie. This is also what I do in the grocery store and probably why people avoid me now. Okay. I feel your pain, but mine was a 90-pound dog. See, Laura, that is always my kind of like baseline is like Dutton will do things because he's 10 pounds. What's the big deal? And I always am reminding myself, you would not get away with this if he was Shaba's size. Shaba's 65, 70 pounds. So the way Dutton will behave, he'll do certain things. And I think in general, maybe as a society, as small dog owners, we let the little guy get away with the rude behavior because, well, he's 10 pounds. Like it's not whatever. He's bouncing off my leg 8 times because he wants to go outside. Like if Shaba did that, I would be like, no, you know what I mean? So I've been applying that mentality to Dutton so that I don't, because if he was doing those same things, like feel your pain, 90 pounds, like that's a lot to manage if a dog decides to lunge and go for it or something, right? With Dutton today, I was like, whoop. And it's like he's 10 pounds, but oh my goodness. So I'm always trying to hone in the behavior. But at first we couldn't even really tell him off because if you told him like a firm no or used a stern voice, he'd cower, shake, and pee. So it was like, he doesn't do that anymore. I told him off good this morning. So we're getting there. We're getting there. It's full clown shoes, Tess says, by the way. She's a woman's 8 and her husband is a 13. If we're all tracking with the chaotic pattern of my brain this morning. Exciting times. You obviously don't appreciate Dutton protecting your whole neighborhood from dangerous leaves and dogs. That's what he's doing. He's just like, hey, Dutton! Dutters! He knows his name. Oh, hi! Come here. Come here. Come here. No. You're You're not in any trouble anymore. Come here. Come here. Let's show the internet. Let's show them who's been guarding the... You're not in any trouble. You're not in trouble anymore. You need to learn how to take correction better. Okay, this is who's been guarding the neighborhood. This scruffy disaster sits on he's guarding right now. Who's out there? Oh my gosh. Do you want to get him? You gonna get him? This scruffy disaster who can't ever get his ears to go in the right spot is the one who has tasked himself with being the defender of the universe. This 10-pound absolute Heinz 57 mishmash is the one who's decided that he will protect me. And I know that's what's motivating it. And fear and anxiety and stress and all these other things, because his whole entire world has been rocked. But we still got to work on it because he cannot lunge at the nice man with the stroller and the nice dog. Okay, I'm going to put you down now. You're very loved. I'm glad you're here. Okay, there it is. Say goodbye to the internet. Goodbye, internet. I love you. Okay, here he goes. Go find Shaba. Go lay down. You're okay. You're a good-ish boy. He's good-ish. Oh. Here we go. We got this. Beneath that small exterior is a Doberman. He is adorable. He just gets away with it all the time. Hi, Alex, the 7-year-old who's on the live this morning. I hope you enjoyed seeing my dog. That's Dutton. He's okay. Okay. It's been 20 minutes. So this is right on cue for the morning intro / ramble. But I will say I'm a learning robot, and today I actually did do like an intro. That's right. We're YouTubing. Okay. Shall we begin? We're beginning this morning with Delightful Day 6. So, there he is. There he is on his chair. I don't know if you guys can hear that. It's flipping. Someone's parked in our visitors parking space, and now they're both going to go nuts. Okay. We're going to start with... It's okay! Listen, guys, I got a YouTube, and I need both of you to be strong, independent men this morning. Can you do that? Can you go lay down, have a good time, find a chew toy? Oh, my Lanta. Needy McNeedersons. Okay. We're starting with Delightful Day 6. That's where we are beginning this morning. So, quick little recap. Yesterday in Delightful, we met... Yeah, we did. We met... I had to check. We met Haunui sheep. That's who we met yesterday in Delightful. And I actually meant to show you this yesterday, but I got all caught up in my talking about how sometimes things are popular just because they're popular. We don't really know why, aka fun for. And then when it's really awful. And then other times things are popular because they're just so good. And everyone's finding out about it. And that's why this thing is maintaining its sort of like heightened recognition, is it's just a really, really good thing. No one's here. Someone's parking. Someone's parking. I can't even with these dogs. And I don't want to yell because you guys are all on the microphone. Goodness sakes. All right. So we talked about Haunui, and I got on that, and then I did not end up showing the pictures. This is stolen from Harriet at Haunui Wools from her Instagram. And so Harriet, I hope you don't mind, but I'm crediting it. There you go. Harriet won't mind. You know when I talked about how uncoated wool from New Zealand is almost like the equivalent to coated wool from here, like it's just so clean? That is really a part of why. Look at where these sheep are hanging out. How beautiful is this? It is picturesque. It is gorgeous. Look at this. This is where these sheep are grazing and living, and absolutely stunning. So this is Haunui flock, and I've got one of our black babes in the snow. I thought that was really cute. Look at that. Look at them in the snow because we're processing a black babe. So this was the one that we're that we're currently working on. Was this Haunui? That's who we met yesterday. These lovely fellows right here. I think in her Instagram post she said these were rams. So I'm not entirely sure. I don't think this was. She didn't distinguish if this was a ram or a ewe, but whatevs. There's a black Haunui sheep. Here's a black Haunui sheep. So we've connected. Hooray! So that's what we're spinning right now. We love it. We talked a lot about Haunui wool. And so today, and we opened the treasure. We opened the slug. Oh no! Jenica sent me the slug. I messaged her yesterday and I asked her if she could show us the slugs because the internet was wanting to see the banana slugs. And then I didn't load it into this program. This won't do it justice. That's what the banana ones looked like. See them? They're kind of like, they're kind of like creamy. I will do better tomorrow. Yeah. That's what the banana ones look like. They're like a creamy yellow with little splotches on them. They're super cute. Okay. We met the slug. So today we're going to meet what I blended the Haunui wool with for this year's Delightful. This was a journey. Blending this was a journey. It was a similar journey to how I've gotten to the 25-minute mark of my Advent. And I've literally talked about dog poo and tiny aggressors and like shot a welcome out the side of my face and then came back, snap, snip, snap, and all these other kinds of things. So day 6 with our cute little hand stamp pine cone. Okay, so here's who we've got in our Haunui day 6 for comparison. Now there's a siren. Dutton is protecting us. Here's your side by side. When these ply together, you're going to have the most amount of, I don't know what you would call that. Maybe it's not even going to be a barber pole because one's just kind of the glossy form of the other. Here's what we stuck in Haunui this year. We're calling this day the greatest of all time, the goat. Because we've got Haunui with 20% Godiva and Latte. These are Kid Nubora goats from L&R Farms in Washington. Oh, this was a fun one. Okay. This was such a fun one. So here is how this went down. I initially I knew there was a goat of some kind that was going to be coming into Delightful this year because like last year we had Cashmere and Delightful. The year before, what did I have a goat? I had recycled Cashmere. That's what I had the first year. So like goat going in is like a totally normal thing because we're trying to hit up categories, right? Like I don't want to just have a bunch of camelids or just have a bunch of Delightful is about kind of experiencing different things in different fleeces. And I've got like these little rules. So this was our goat day. And the reason why goat got in here was because with a black fleece, if I was to blend something matte into it, let's say, it really affects the color, which wasn't what I was going for in my color story. There is something, and this might sound weird, and I'm probably using the wrong word for it, okay? There's something translucent about goat fiber. Even though it has color, it almost adds a wash, like a stain maybe, or like a shellac, like a clear coat that's tinted, a tinted lip stain kind of vibe versus that sort of chalky color that you can get in when you use other things, even silks. Silks I feel like are pretty opaque. And there's other things that are like these opaque fibers. And goat, you put it into wool and it's like not doing it's not adding like a dense amount of color. It's adding like a liquid color. Is that correct? Okay. So what I had done at first, last year when we did this, we mixed in peduncle silk because you'd think like the darkest of the silks is going to give it like that liquid metallic look, but it definitely did like change up that color. It added a whole bronzy gray business to it. And I didn't want it, I tried not to affect the black. And so I thought, okay, I'll do the goat because those come out kind of more translucenty. And so at first I tried straight cashmere. And I thought, well, let's see how that goes. Straight cashmere, the color that I had was sort of like a light cream. Actually, I can show you. You guys want to see? You guys want to see? Hold on. Wait. Keep trying to Google Nubora goat. Okay, I'll tell you. Hold on. I'll tell you what the goat is. Where is it? The cute little Emily put it somewhere weird. That's the silk pile. Hold on. Hold on to your butt. Where is my bag? Should be. If I do all this and then I don't even find it, it's going to be like the dumbest thing ever. Emily, where's the cashmere? This is what I would yell if she was here right now. We have this beautiful bag of cashmere. What? Am I crazy? You guys talk amongst yourselves. I gotta find this cashmere. It's gotta be. There's only so many places it could be. Wouldn't be on the silk shelf. Should be on the halo shelf. Oh my gosh. It was on the halo shelf the whole entire time. It was exactly where it was supposed to be the whole entire time. This is cashmere. I'm just going to come back in like this is normal. This is cashmere. Okay. From Eulalia. I really like their cashmere. You guys can find them online. They work straight up with the Mongolian producers. It's very fair trade. Okay, here's this cashmere, right? And it's like this. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous to touch. Very short. We got this super short vibe going on. So this is from a cashmere goat. Okay. That's what's giving us this beautiful, very soft, very small, very fine fiber type. And if anyone's ever looking for cashmere, these guys are impeccable. Their stuff is crazy. They're on Instagram. 100% cashmere from free range goats made in Mongolia. It's like this whole thing. And they're on Instagram. You can find them. You can find their website. They have limited offerings. They also offer some yak and stuff like that. But this stuff is super, super good when you're blending. It's like, I don't know if I've found better than that when I'm blending. So I tried that. I stuck that in at first. But with the black, it gave us like this color change I didn't really want. Then I tried... Did I try camel in this one? I was way wrong. That was like super, super wrong. And it was adding like a chalk vibe to it. And again, I had these samples and I believe Nelly took them home. So I don't have them to show you. That would have been an interesting show. And then I remembered that Robin from L&R had been up here in the spring and she'd brought me all of this long wool from her flock. Robin's flock, absolutely gorgeous. Okay. And I remembered like back in like the mind palace corner of my brain, back cupboard storage room, all of a sudden my brain clicked and I'm like, she gifted me goat. Like it was a gift. The goat was a gift from Robin. And now it's a gift to all of you. But goat was a gift from Robin where she had been like, these are like this special goat that I have. And I want you to, have it, try it, whatever. And so I went on a hunt. And this would have been the day I was on Instagram. And I'm like, I'm looking for a specific fleece. And I'm like in a sea of wool. And I'm out there. I don't know if you guys remember this from my Instagram story, but I'm out there in the garage and I'm looking for a very specific fleece. It was this one. I needed to find this fleece because I'm like, am I crazy? Like I know she gifted me this goat to play with, to try, to whatever. And I hadn't worked with something like this before. So I found the bag and I washed it. But what I want to show you guys is who's given us this. So here it is. Here's her goat. So Robin sent me these over Instagram when I told her I was using them in the Advent. So thank you, Robin, for sending me pictures. This is who's given up. Is that the same picture? Did I really do that? There's supposed to be 2 pictures. I uploaded the same picture twice because we're killing it. So this is who's given us fiber today, okay? One of the 2, because there's two that are in here. And then I took that fiber and I washed it. And that looked like this. So here's how it looked after it was washed. I wonder if I can make that bigger. If I go away, will it make that bigger? No, it really won't. Oh, hello. That's not the mixture that I want. Wait. Okay. Yes. So I'm back. Okay. So this is how it looks after you wash it. So we washed this very carefully, very gently, because I didn't want to hurt the goat. I didn't want the goat to felt. Goat doesn't have lanolin, but it has a lot of wax that needs to come out. So we just did high temp 1 scour is what I did. I just did a high temperature 1 scour. And then to lift that wax out. And then I think I did like 2 rinses and we were super clean. So it wasn't a difficult wash at all. But you'll notice, look kind of like mid-picture this side. I don't know if the camera's flipping things. It would be my right. You'll see like a clump of hair, like coarse hair, okay? This goat was a mixture of 2 really beautiful things. A lot of hair. Here we are going through the big homie. And then the most unbelievable undercoat you've ever seen in your whole entire life. So I went looking into a cross between a Nubian goat and an Angora goat. So Nubian goats, they are milk goats. These are not fiber goats. The Nubian goat is like a milk producing goat. It has a very soft undercoat, but we never use it in the fiber world. The fiber world's not using Nubian goat because it's way, way too short. This undercoat is like this really, really short undercoat, but it is like cashmere soft. We just don't have access to it because it's a dairy goat. It's not meant for fiber. So when you cross a Nubian goat, which is a dairy goat, and an Angora goat, which is what gives us mohair, which is quite long. Mohair is long. It goes one of 2 ways. You're either going to get a very mohair-like, you're going to lean more into the mohair length, and sometimes mohair can be strong, unless it's kid mohair. This is a kid goat we're working with today. Or we're going to lean more cashmere. We're going to be a blend of both because the length that the Angora goat is providing to the Nubian goat genetic, we're lengthening out that cashmere-like undercoat from this dairy goat that would otherwise never be experienced. Along with that, though, because the Nubian goats are covered in like a really, really coarse kind of like top coat. I don't know if we'd call it. Yeah, I think we call it that. That's in there too. So let's look. Are you guys tracking with me so far? Let me just see. I remember that post. Angora, unicorn fluff, Nubian X Angora. Yep, you got there. Nubian X Angora. Did you already pull it out and sitting on the other shelf? Thank you for helping me. I was going to go there next. Wow, you guys were helping us. Okay, so here's how we processed this. So I just showed you this picture here. What we decided to do, so my first attempt when I was working with this fiber, after we had it clean, was I just ran the fiber straight up with the Haunui to see what it would do. And it was really hairy in a way that I don't think would have vibed with Delightful's energy. The Haunui was, and I didn't know this at the time. I hadn't explored. Okay. So for anyone who's ever DM'd me and you've been like, Melly, help with like various things, I'm going to help, but I'm also going to tell you there is no like substitute for experience. None at all. I can tell you, but the fleece that you're dealing with is probably just going to be different in some ways than the experiences I've had with fleece or whatever. I've had experience with a lot of fleece types, a lot of fiber types, a lot of wool types, but still, even coming to me and asking me for help, for questions. I'm going to answer, I'm going to help, I'm going to do my best and let you know what I know every time. But still, even I'm not a substitute for just trying things out and seeing what happens. And that's what we did with this goat. We had a full-on exploration station time getting into this one. So first thing I did was mixed it just with Haunui in a sampler, and it was really hairy. And I'm like, dang it, because it's perfect. It's what I want color-wise. It's not too shiny. It's not going liquid like the peduncle did in this same fleece last year, which I really liked, but it took it to a different kind of color, and it definitely made it liquid. It almost added like a bronzing to it. What I wanted was to stay black. I wanted to stay black, but I wanted to stay black and have something else going on. So you can see like we've altered slightly, but this is still, and of course this is shinier, so it's pulling light differently. When I'm looking at these back here, we're black. We stayed black this year, and that's what I wanted to do, is stay. So this one's obviously way more matte black because this one has 20% of the goat, but look outside of my light. We remained in that zone that I wanted to stay. So I'm playing with a color story, right? But the color was right, way better than the traditional, even though this changed the color, as you could tell it would. This took us into a whole other, it kind of screwed up what I wanted and what I didn't want. Even though this was delicious in the bat. This was fantastic. And the camel was like wrong in so many ways. But for what I was going for color-wise, I'm going to stop saying that because I've said it enough. You know what I'm talking about. This one was what I wanted it to be color-wise, and yet it wasn't texture-wise. It wasn't right for Delightful. So I'm like, okay. So this is where now I'm going to rely on my experience and other fibers I've processed and apply that and see if it works for this fiber too, and go ahead and experiment. So yes, I'm coming from a base of previous experience, but I'm still just going to go in to an experimentation. So what I did is I took this goat, I ran it straight up through Big Homie. And for anyone who was following the stories, you would remember this too in a black and white. I was behind Big Homie. I tried to get to upload, but it was too big of a file. I was behind Big Homie, and I'm just pulling gobs of fiber off the floor and off underneath Big Homie. And I'm saying, this is a specialty fiber, and Big Homie is absolutely kicking out all of the coarse hairs, because Big Homie is super prejudiced against coarse fiber. Big Homie doesn't like it. This is even why if I throw in certain long wools, I talk about there's a heavy Carter tax, because the Homie's spitting them out. He's just like, I don't like that one or that one or that one or that one, but I'm going to keep all of these nice ones. And so a lot of the times when we're processing even like Shetlands and Icelandics and all that kind of stuff on the Big Homie, those stronger parts of those primitive fleeces, he'll just spit them. And then what we're left with, we've lost a lot more than I lose on another fleece, but what I'm left with is quite nice. Okay, so we fed it to Big Homie to see what would happen. This is who we fed that day. And this would be the first pass going in. So I've picked it open slightly, as you can see. I hope this is big enough on your screen. I don't know that there's a way to full screen this action. No, that keeps it the same size. Okay. So did it? Yeah, it did. Okay. So this one is going through first pass. I've picked it open gently. It wasn't really difficult to pick open. I could have kind of just fed it as is to the Homie because it wasn't felted at all. It was super clean. We fed it to the Homie, and we had a first pass, and a bunch of stuff kicked out the back. And I was like, interesting. So I took it back through for a second pass, and more stuff kicked out the back. So then I took it through for a third pass, and a little bit kicked out the back. So that told me that, okay, so I'm going to do these 3 passes, but it's spat out what it's going to spit out. Let me show you guys what we were spitting here. So left is 3 passes, right is what hit the floor. Again, 3 passes. So there's still hair in it, like these hairy, coarser parts, but what's happening on the other side is what Big Homie rejected and what we composted. We lost about half the weight of the goat. So that's what came out. Look at how beautiful that finished product is though, hey? That's just 3 passes on the Homie, kicking out everything. You can still see, especially in this picture, the hairy vibe, right? But I don't mind that. I'm not bothered by that. That doesn't offend my senses, my delicate senses here for what I'm looking for delightful, because there's lots of other fibers that we use in these advents that also have like a hair factor, a fur factor. You know what I mean? Like we're not looking for everything to be a smooth butter. Like there is like lots of fiber types out there that do lots of different things, and some of them are hairy friends. So this one's kind of that. But like I'm saying we kicked the majority of this out. So here it is going in on its second pass. This probably would have been a better sequence to show. So I would take that first pass and I would do what I do with carding anything. Draft, spread, feed. So this is me feeding the second pass, but look at the difference here. Oh, that's tiny. I don't like that. How do I... Oh, hey, I love that. If I could just get that order to switch. So there's our first pass going through. That's what the second pass looked like going through. And then by the time we got to that third pass, we had... Doesn't like that. Okay. Okay, finicky. Wait. Do not tell me that I uploaded all the same photo. Melissa, you monster. Where's the photos I was just showing you? Of the goats, of the little blobs, like these friends. That's what I want you guys to see. I don't know where those went. Okay. So there it is. There's my biggest like comparison factor for showing you guys what we did here. I think this is pretty stunning. I couldn't believe what we were pulling out. And notice this color. So this color of this goat looks very taupe. It's very like gold almost. What you're seeing on the screen is in daylight up here in the wool room. At a good spotted light, you can see the light coming in the window. This is a pretty true color. So I liked that it was sort of a warmer gold vibe because we're kind of searching for that more in the Advent this year. Like not warmer gold, but like we're composty. We're the forest floor. And so a vibe like this going into the black, I would say in the bat, yeah, I can see where it's ever so slightly warmer. But again, this is like the bright light reflection. So this looks quite different here, whereas here we're looking a little less different. We're same thing as the Dreamland effect when I put it right up here. I'm like, look how different all the days are, but really back here, they're very, very similar. So that's what we ended up getting. So once I had, and someone's just said, I'm so surprised the color didn't shift as much with the blend because it's goat. This is what I'm talking about. Goat fibers, I swear, there's like an opacity, okay, in fibers. And some are like all the way dialed up to 10. Let's call that like chalk, drywall, matte color. And then there's some that are more opaque. And I find goat fibers are always on the opaque scale. So you're taking that, which looks like it would be quite saturated with color. We would expect it to really lift the level of the black, but it doesn't, because that's how goat behaves when you blend it into wool. It almost goes... It kind of, what does it do? Like a wash. That's the best thing I could say, where that might look like a really saturated color. It almost just like glazed this in that color. That's how it kind of behaved. It glazed it. I thought I had another picture here of what, and I probably did put another picture here. There it is drying on the tray. There it is going first pass. There it is done. I did, though, however, have a photo, but now this thing is showing me only photos. Where's the one that was in my hand? You know what? I had a photo that I uploaded. Yeah, not so show me all the same goats, too. What a jerk this software is being. I had a picture of just the goat fiber in my hand. And again, we lost 50% of the volume of this thing is what we lost. So weight before to weight after was half gone. Half of it hit the floor, and what we were left with. So there's a big pile of just hair. And I turned it around in my hand because I was showing my husband that day. What we were left with, though, and I don't have any left, I used every last bit of it in Delightful because it wasn't a very big fleece. These were kids. These were baby animals. I used every last bit of it because we lost half anyway in this Advent. So by the time you get maybe like, I think it was like a pound or two. Was it a pound? I think it was about a pound that I got of this fleece. Then you get the wax out and clean it. I would say it was pretty clean. Then you lose half of it. You know what I'm saying? Like we used every last little bit in Delightful. So don't have any left to show you here, but what we pulled out. So this was super fun. This gave me life for like 3 straight days. We're just playing with this goat because I hadn't played with this kind of goat before. I can say after handling this, okay, a really good quality cashmere, good stuff, not mass-produced crazy, like from a farmer in Mongolia, free-range goat, the best, okay? I'm going to call it that. And then handling commercially processed cashmeres, having played with Kashgoras, having played with Angora, having played with Pygora, and all these kinds of goats, I would say this one was striking a pretty nice balance between the mohair and the cashmere vibe, but I would say leaning a little more towards cashmere. So if there was a 50-50 where if Nubian dairy goat getting that length genetic over here and we're coming to meet each other, they didn't quite meet in the middle. I feel like we met a little bit more this way where the fibers weren't as long, but again, baby animals, so it might not be. And we were coming in more to that sort of delicate cashmere side of the fleece. Like let's say if this is dead center, we were here. So we weren't like here. Nor were we leaning mohair. We were, or even kid mohair. I love kid mohair, but it's not soft like cashmere. Like the fact that we were there, it was really cool. So we were talking slippy and slick, which we're getting from this side of the genetic, but like light as air, fluffy. Oh my gosh. How long would you say the undercoat fibers are? For this guy, that long? Yeah, they were long. Longer than cashmere undercoat. And not like how this is super, super down. This is cloud. And see how this isn't really shiny? Okay. The Nubora was shiny. It had like a gleam to it. It had a luster. It wasn't straight up mohair shiny. Mohair is so shiny. It had luster to it, whereas this, it does a little actually. This will add when you stretch it out like that because it's goat, right? But we don't really see it in the fluff. But when you actually pull the cashmere straight like this, see, there is a sheen to it. I would say that the Nubora had a similar sheen, just way more obvious. You didn't have to stretch it out over your hand because it in itself was lengthened. So here's where this one's quite short and downy. This other one was probably about this long. The hairs were longer. The hairs we were getting rid of were 3 inches plus, and they were quite the opposite. So it was really interesting to see these two very different fibers living on the same animal. It was a cool, guys, I had the most fun processing this goat. It was like, I love a good experiment. I love a good learning moment. I liked that like there was literally nowhere for me to Google this. There wasn't anywhere where I could Google like how to process Nubora and what do I do with it and whatever else. It was like I just had to try, and we did. and I really am appreciative to Robin, who's here. Hello, Robin, is here. What second fleece? What was the second fleece? There was 2 goats in one bag, right? Godiva and Latte were in the same bag? Or different bags? There was a pound of something. I thought it was both. It was both. Was there another goat? Did I miss someone? Is there still a goat on my shelf from you? I don't know what you're talking about, but I appreciate you so much. Okay. Not so much crimp, but silky fine. Absolutely. That's correct. It wasn't crimpy. It was, well, more similar to a mohair in that there isn't really crimp there. There's kind of like this like curly spiral. I have Hannah here somewhere. I have goat. How much more do you guys really want me getting up and hunting for things? Are we done with goat? Are we done with goat? Do you guys want to see we're done with goat? Are we feeling done? I've got Hannah, the Angora goat here. She's from here in BC. She's really, really beautiful. And then you'd be able to see that the goats aren't crimpy like wool. They're silky and a little twirly. But I've got her here. I think she's there. But I'd have to get up. So here we go. What are we asking here? What are we looking at? Let's see if anyone had questions. That's crazy. It was crazy. It was so much fun. I'm so surprised the color didn't shift. We read that one. Salt and pepper. A gloss. Hey, Egg Lady 666. A gloss. Thank you. Hive mind. Hive mind. We love it. Okay. So we've got, what is the second fleece? Yeah, right. Now we need to know. Now we need to know, Robin. I don't know what the second fleece is. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is either. A gloss is absolutely perfect. It's also interesting. I had no idea. I didn't either. That's what makes this so much fun. I didn't know what the final result was going to be. I had no idea we'd get from this to this. I had no idea. I couldn't have predicted that. That's what made the experiment so much fun. Apply the knowledge you have on how to basically get things clean, and then just go real slow every other step. See what happens. You don't destroy anything. And we got like a really incredible product. And I was actually really impressed with how the big homie spat out so much of that fur, or that hair. Sorry. That was really, really cool. This is also fascinating. Guru. Oh, hey. After she digs through the closet, spent the first part talking about a dog poo scenario and is still getting distracted by the fact that I know there's a goat right up there. Big expert energy over here. Undercoat. Was the goat almost in the cormo? No. I had never wanted the goat in the cormo. The goat's almost too... That cormo was like... Remember how we talked about how it was really doing a lot in the lock? It was disorganized, making it a really good candidate to hold on to that bison. So the goat didn't need to be held on to. When you are blending Cashmere, like we saw yesterday in the Romney with the Great Guts Adventure, when I blend Cashmere into things, goats are actually pretty easy to get along with. They get along with most types of fiber. I mean, would I put this in a Romney? Depends on the Romney. Yesterday's Romney, that Romney would have played well with anything. But like, this goat is a little different going on. But Kid Mohair, you could almost look at it like silk. So if a fleece would take silk, you could throw in mohair. If you're like, this would be a great fleece for silk. Ooh, I could put mohair in this too then. Or Surrey alpaca. Like, you can kind of start making like connections in your head for how things behave within wool. So I wouldn't put this in the same category. This is probably more, well, this will still get along better than this won't fight back like the bison does. This would have also blended really, really well into the Haunui. I've done Cashmere Haunui before, and it's just gorgeous. It just envelops it. It just goes along with what the Haunui is doing. I didn't need the fleece to do anything to hold on to the goat. The goat was going to get along with it. So it was actually, with the Haunui, it was funny because in my blend focus for this one, it was really color focused, trying to retain the black. That's what we were doing. There's not, aside from if I had used black Tussa silk, which we were not doing that. I didn't want that because we stay natural colors in this advent. So I wanted to, and that would obviously be a dyed product. So my options for how do I get a specialty fiber in here, I could have done like a black alpaca. I could have done a black, like I was looking at my options, but we were using camelids elsewhere that had a higher priority. And so it kind of came down to, I think we got to go with a goat. We got to experiment and see what we can get. And then I remembered Robin's goat, like in the night. I'm talking 2 a.m. I'm like sleeping and I'm like, the goat. And then like the next day, it was like everything in me was trying to find that goat. And then look what it did. Look at it here. I keep wanting to draw you guys back here and not here, where we're seeing more bright light contrast. Check it. Oh, Robin's back. Come on, Robin. Where we got to stay black. So does that answer that question fulsomely? Let's see. Show Hannah. I gotta find Hannah. Hannah! Maybe she means the goat's next fleece, they will grow. Oh! Right? I didn't think about that. Maybe. Their second fleece will come off in February. Egg Lady, seriously, you're on it today. Gold star for Egg Lady. Their second fleece will come off in February. Angoras are clipping 2 times a year. These are only once, and I do have 2 more kids from this year to clip as well. Okay. And Robin does process her own bats. Here's her comment. Robin does process her own bats. Maybe she's using this for herself. I don't want to speak for her in that regard, but Robin also does sell her fleece. I'll put this back up so you guys can see the @ here in case you're wanting to buy some really beautiful long wool. Robin is almost, I can say Robin's flock has single-handedly redeemed long wool for me. So I like long wool, I guess. Like that's kind of how I would go, right? Robin's stuff is so beautiful that you'll pay the price in the picking. You know how I feel about BFL and all that kind of stuff. But we have had quite a few really remarkable fleece from Robin, like Watusi has been in the shop. And who was that black one that was like this long? What was her name? Started with an A. Watusi was the gray one, the Wensleydale X. And then there was the Astrid. Oh my gosh, Astrid. Do you guys remember Astrid? That was insane. And there's like some really beautiful, especially the Targi crosses too. Like there's like these like, oh my gosh, guys. There's just like some really beautiful genetics going on in Robin's flock. She cares for them really well. And she herself is a very caring person. I've sat and had coffee with this person at my table. And I can say, when you buy from Robin, you aren't buying from a monster. So that's always good to know, right? Gorgeous flock, great pricing too. Like, and just, I don't know, really beautiful stuff. So look at this. Robin, your goats are beautiful. Robin, read all this, okay? See what they're saying about you. We want to encourage all of our shepherds. What a difficult and rewarding job. Late to join, and the fleece from Robin, Brenda the Border Leicester, and she's awesome. See? There it is. Robin is also in the States. So if you're in the States watching this and you want access to raw fleece, you shouldn't have any problem getting it either. Because when I'm referencing some of my BC shepherds, I know they aren't shipping to the States right now. So I've never forgotten Astrid. I've never forgotten Astrid. Astrid was so pretty. I have a tiny bit of her left somewhere. Tiniest bit. There's Watusi. I can see a little bit left, maybe like a pound of Watusi. And then I've got this like white one up here right now. What's her name? She's like a BFL cross, and she's like this pearly, most perfect white you've ever seen in your life. See if I can find the goat. Hold on. See if I can find Hannah. Ugh! I just had Hannah out because I was trying to get her. I don't need to yell. You guys are attached to my boob. I was trying to get Hannah out with one of my pickers who really loves. Who's this? Oh, Gotland Lamb. With one of my pickers who likes picking long wools, and she loves picking long wools, like loves it, which I think is totally crazy. So anyway, she oof. I was trying to see if she wanted to pick the rest of Hannah the goat. Okay, here we go. Let's put you away. Here's Hannah. Hannah is from a flock here in British Columbia. She's super pretty. Oof. And this is mohair. It's very high shine. So we're not demi-luster. We're not pearlescent. We are like straight up glossy. Hannah's beautiful. She is just a very pretty, pretty girl. And like, talk about adding fairy dust to your bats. Do you know what I'm saying? Mohair is also awesome if you want to make a sock blend and you don't want to use nylon. You want the strength and the resilience in your sock, but you don't want to use plastic. So if you put mohair in your sock blends, this is strong like nylon. This is nature's nylon. If you have access to it. If you don't, you want to go all wool, you don't want to use goat fiber for whatever reason, grab some Cotswold. Cotswold is poor man's mohair. This is like how these things work. And you can put these into your sock blends. So there's our delicious, delightful Hannah. So in regards to the Nubora goats, we've been talking about the kid. First of all, this is not a baby animal. Robin's fleeces were from baby animals, so that's a little different. Lengthwise, because I don't have any of that left to show you. Can't believe I don't have any. left to show you? Lengthwise, I would say this is the length of this mohair lock. And I would say the stuff that the homie was kicking out was about this length. And what was left was about this length. Much longer than cashmere, but not as long as what the total fleece would have been giving us. So this is probably more the length. So not this glossy, not that high shine. And this is really flat. This is like quite dense. This one just wants to lay, it wants to slope, it wants to drape. Whereas the Nubora had a loft to it, coming probably from that Nubian goat, giving us that cashmere business, okay? So that's what we got here. Where is Hannah from in BC? Alberta? She wasn't from Alberta. Maybe she was. She's from Wind Weft Farm and Studio. That's how I've kept track of this. That's where Hannah's from. I found it on Facebook Marketplace. A lady on Facebook Marketplace was selling goat mohair from her goat. And it was super, super pretty. And I was like, I want it. So I bought it. So that's what I got. Okay. I have a hard time with mohair next to skin, but I would be curious if Nubora would be okay. I have a hard time with mohair next to skin. Kid mohair in socks on my feet, yes. People who hold mohair double in knitwear, if I had to put that on my neck, it would bother me intensely, and I don't get bothered by wool ever. So that is interesting. We'll see. This doesn't have that feeling to it, but this was softer than the mohair. Like, Hannah's gorgeous, but you can even see the width of her individual fibers in the video that I'm showing you, whereas this you couldn't. This was playing a game between what I just showed you and this business. So very cool. Have we exhausted the topic of the goats? How do we feel? Have we exhausted the topic? We've talked a lot about this goat, but this deserved a lot of talk because this was a really interesting day. This was not Melly orders something online, sources something online, and throws it into the advent. This was like, we had to build this one. And it was such a fun process to build it out. And then to stick it into something as precious and special as this like dark Haunui, and to have it play so well. So there it is. We've completed another fleece in our delightful series. And tomorrow, I can't wait. I can't wait. Can't wait. I can't wait to go to tomorrow. Don't look ahead. Okay? Don't look ahead. Oh, Robin's about to give you guys a little nugget. We have a great giveaway for Dashel Through the Snow this year. Robin did giveaways for for Stash Dashers. She did like 5. It was awesome. Maybe more, I don't know. But she's got something for Dashel Through the Snow. So that's going to be really, really exciting when we can give away her stuff. Okay. All right. Okay. I wish someone would talk about me the way Melly talks about Hannah. I wish that for you too. We love Hannah. Okay, so we've exhausted the goat topic. I think we've covered goats thoroughly between yesterday's Kashgora. And if you want more goat content, see yesterday. I'm catching up on the show notes. I've got day 3. I'm done up to day 3. I gotta do 4, 5, and 6. I'll do those today, whatever. So here we go. There's our day. We're done with the Haunui. We're gonna put it away now. And tomorrow we're gonna meet a new fine wool fleece in Delightful and a new treasure. So that's exciting. That's what we're gonna do tomorrow. Okay, now let's go. Let's go for our Dreamland. Ah, Dreamland, where are you? Here's my bag. Here's my Dreamland. I like how we're kind of like really voluming down on this one. Because we're halfway, guys. Day 6 is halfway. We're opening the halfway point of the Advent today, which is just nuts how fast this goes every single year. Absolutely love it. Okay, here we go. Here's day 6 of Dreamland in our shiny gold foil. And so yesterday, today we're on a transition color because yesterday we met a full-fledged color. This was day 5, and I had said to you guys I had just blended orange into this day. Orange, amongst other things. Okay, we have a recipe that we used. We followed a recipe when we figured out how to get Dreamland to do what we wanted it to do. If you're new, this advent is about a color melt, just a soft, slow motion, gentle, gradual movement of color. And the way we did that is we used the same base for the entire advent, which was based in Canadian wool and Canadian alpaca. And then to that wool, we added a percentage, an infusion of silks. So for the sari silk, we kept it the same across the board. That would be our gloss to keep things from like playing with each other well. And then we played with the tussa colors inside this fleece. And the way we moved the tussa throughout the advent is how we achieved this melt. So this would have included one color of tussa. Okay, that's what this one did. And the day we're going to open today is going to include two, a bit of this day and a bit of the day to come. That's how this advent is working. So that was yesterday. So let's see if you guys can guess where we're going based on today's color. Okay. Oh, where are we headed, Melly? Here it is. Let's take a little looky-see here. Where have we gone? That's today's color. So you can see the orange presence is still in there because we're melting. And then to compare it, here's what we had yesterday. This is what we had yesterday. Come on, friend. Come on, friend. Let's go. There. How's that looking? Yesterday. Today. You guys can guess that one. That one's pretty obvious where we're going. Yes? Okay. Yesterday, today. As we melt along our dreamland, our nighttime wildflower garden. Ooh! And I've already mentioned that the Dreamland colors, that I really tend to love these in-between ones where we're melding the day before and the day after in the middle. They're just doing something real sweet. Also, look at how like meh that looks all the way back here. And then look at this. And look at where it's looking up here. So Danielle just writes, I see yellow, she says, with some hesitation. And I love the hesitation because this alone, you might not be seeing that. Next to here, you can kind of more get a reference point when you look at it next to true orange. Like this, the one orange day, like where we're headed. So, trust your gut, whatever, no spoilers. So that's our Dreamland day. I showed it to you yesterday. I think we just showed yesterday. I did all the colors next to each other. Like for let's call them like the primary days, not primary as in color, but like a color that isn't in transition. So for instance, this color was not in transition. This was where we arrived at a color, and now we're moving again. This is a color that's taking us to the next color. So in this advent, so far, these have been the colors that are taking us to the next color. That's what we've had. That was 2, that's 4, this is 6. And these are the ones that are bringing us from one thing to the next versus 4, 2, 6, 1, 3, and 5, which are this. There it is. There was 1, there was 3, there was 5. So these ones were the ones that just contain one color, and the others are the ones that are, so 1, 3, 5, and the others go right in the middle to help us move. That's how we're going in this advent. Ta-da! Ta-da! Okay. I'm going to put these back. 1, 3, and 5. Okay, they're all back. So that was Dreamland. Dreamland's a pretty quick one for us to discuss. We had the most discussion about it on day one because we were going through the whole Advent. We were going through how we built it. Fun fact, here's a fun fact. Aaron is currently, so Graham Ranny is the shepherd of this flock. And Aaron is currently hanging out with Graham Ranny and they're like shearing sheep and doing stuff. So that's kind of fun. It does make this whole job better when you know these people who are doing this work that I think can largely go really unseen. I really think it can. But the work that goes into the chores and the everything that goes into keeping these animals alive and well and at their best, like that's crazy. So it's really fun when you actually get to spend time with the people that wind up here or wind up on our wheels or wind up, like on the garment that we're wearing. Like that's really cool. Like, okay, my sweater today, this is made in Honduras. I have no idea whose hands were involved in this, but and I'm still wearing it and I'm not like throwing hate or shade or whatever. What I'm saying is like when you knit your Haunui sweater, when you knit your Astrid scarf, when you knit your Dreamland, whatever it may be, I know you don't know it. That's why I'm trying to share it with you here. But like we know who has been since the origins of that all the way through to this thing that we're wearing. And there is something as romantic as frick about that, about getting able to be like, hey, like, like it's very, very cool. And spending time with all these different kinds of people and just getting to know their practices and how they feel about their animals and their knowledge and like all this kind of stuff. So it's great because Aaron's calling me and he's like, yeah, Graham was looking at some fleece for you today. And he was saying like, Melly would love these ones. And I'm like, yes, because similar to Robin showing up with goats or like similar to, Harriet being like, I sent all these colors. I think these will work for you. And like getting to know people. And then they're just like, there's this really cool fleece or people are picking for me and I love it. I'll process anything. Let's do this thing. Okay. So that was Dreamland. We're done. We looked at Dreamland for today. Beautiful color. I know there's a few of you now. I've seen, I think 2 or 3 that are knitting this already with the pattern from Katie at Songbird Handmade. Stitches in Starlight. Tashi is still spinning through that on Vlogmas. And so getting to show the color and just, you actually get to sit and watch the spinning go down. So that's actually pretty cool. I linked it in the day 3. I'll link it again here just because I talked about it. So if I talk about it, I'll link it. Expect that in, 8 days when I get to it. So there's lots of ways to watch Dreamland going down, but I was holding my breath for the first few days of that Advent as we were traveling from purple to pink to orange, where I think we're traveling purple to pink to orange. I'm like, trust the process, friends. Trust the process. We're melting. We're getting there. It's great. Okay. So speaking of trusting the process, let's talk about Great Guts Adventure Day 6. Okay. in the spirit of trust the process, we're going to talk about Day 6 of the Great Guts Adventure. So, Great Guts Adventure, for anyone just coming in, maybe this is your first day joining us. You work all week. You've managed to show up to an actual live on a Saturday. And I don't want you to feel like you're coming in mid-conversation, okay? So I do these pauses for anyone who has been here all week. And you're like, why is she saying it again? We know. I'm speaking to those who might not have been here all week. So just so we can make sure they're a part of our conversation, they're around what we're doing. The Great Guts Adventure was 12 days. And every day we get a new breed and we get a new specialty fiber to blend into it. That's what we're doing with the Great Guts Adventure. There isn't a rhyme or reason. There is not a color story. There is not none of that. This one was about me going out to my wool wall and looking, and I've got like sections. I've got, I talked about this yesterday, a big long wool. A big primitives at the top. And I've got my down wools and my long wools, which right now are exploding. I don't need any more long wools. And I've got my fine wools that are all kind of mixed in. And I've got my, so all these kinds of things. And I chose fleece that I loved. That's how this went down. That's why we've met that amazing Corriedale on day one with the 3 colors. How cool was that? And we met, the border Leicesterland that's going to ruin everybody for all future border Leicesters. And we had like these kind of really cool experiences we've been having with our fleece. Yesterday's Romney, I've been getting a ton of people who have been like, this Romney, this was the easiest day. I loved working with this day. This was so much fun. And this day is going to challenge you. I'm going to tell you that straight up. So we're gonna trust the process. This one was really funny because Aaron's feelings about me putting this in the advent. Remember, he was the one in the beginning who said to me straight up, you need to, it's an adventure, but make sure it's a good adventure. It's got to still be a good adventure. So yesterday, everybody was like, yay, adventure, Romney. And I'm like, Romney's not an adventure. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe you've never played with Romney before, but like, we're going to adventure a little bit today. Here's what I did. Here's what I did to you all today. We've got Icelandic. La, 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 la. Maybe you've worked with this before. Maybe you haven't. Maybe you've heard about it or you touched it somewhere and you definitely do not want to play with it because you touched it somewhere and you were like, whoa, that feels creepy. Hold on. After yesterday's Romney, I went and purchased 3 pounds from Nighthawk Ranch. Hey, I'm so glad you did. You're going to love it. I can guarantee that. I can actually guarantee you're going to receive an amazing fleece that you're going to love and there's going to be nothing wrong with it. This is how we roll at Nighthawk Ranch. So what I did is I stuck this with yak down. Trust the process. Listen to me. We're going to talk about this decision, okay? Here's the deal. I love Icelandic with my whole heart. I love it. I absolutely love it. The Melly Knits origin story begins in Icelandic. And so I feel very much connected. I have a sentimentality factor with this fiber. I think that this fiber it does so much. It has so much utility. I wear Icelandic sweaters next to skin. It doesn't bother me. My daughter could never. Erin could never. My sister could never. But and these are people I commonly knit for, I wear them next to skin. I think it makes the best socks you've ever worn. I think you don't need to put a single thing into it. Straight up Icelandic low-piece singles, and you have the most durable socks, singles too, not even plied, that you've ever had. I really, really appreciate that this has that level of utility to it and beauty to it, because within Icelandic, there's something insane, like 36 colors that you get from these fleeces. These are primitives. And I mean, this is not intro to primitive like Finn is. This is like big primitive energy. Okay. This is some BPE. This is like, not only am I primitive, I'm going to see your primitive, whatever other fleece we're talking to in that category, and I'm going to out primitive you by like a lot. So I mixed 3 different Icelandics together. All 3 come from a farm in British Columbia called Aurloa Farms. We have Wingnut, so that's this one. You might remember this from stories when Wingnut was being sheared, aptly named because Wingnut has 1 testicle. So this is Wingnut. And then we had Cora and we had Freya. So I believe this one was Freya. And I just dropped Cora on the ground. Hold on. I'm going to tell you right up, straight away, visually, I love Freya the most because her color, let me find it. Whoa. Where'd it go? Where did it go? I love Freya. Where I just had, oh my gosh. I'm going to pick it up with the toes. No, I'm not. I got to lean. And then I'm going to bump my computer. Everyone goes crashing to the floor. Oh, I love Freya. Here she is. This is Freya. I'm just going to put this down for a sec so we have a full screen. This is what she looks like. So the way Icelandic works here is you've got down here, all here, you have got what's called the Thel. This is the downy little softy baby undercoat. It's very lovely. It's very soft. It's very it's got a good insulating factor to it. We love. Up here, you have what's called the tog. That's my Canadian way of saying it. It's like tog. You would say it somewhere fancier. This is this outer coat here that has all the strength, all the protections, okay? If you go like this, hold on, like this, you can separate these coats. Some people do this. I don't do this, but I'm going to show you because, we're on an adventure. You can separate out these coats just like that. And here I am with a handful of Thel, a little bit of Tog left in it. Okay. And then here I am over here with a handful of the Tog, Thel and Tog. You could take just this, as the people in Iceland been doing forever, and you could turn this into all your next to skin. You could turn this into baby garments, etc. It's much shorter, but it's not like short, right? But we're shorter. This one, we're weaving with it. It's strong. We got fishing nets. We've got all those really strong utility fibers, okay? Very cool. If you put them together, so you mix these two together, and then you spin it according to and appropriately for what this breed is, you get, I'm just going to call it perfect yarn, but let's just say you get, you get perfect yarn. So you get, that's all there is to say. So you mix these two together. Now we've got this soft, insulating, downy undercoat. That's how it feels. And this long, very coarse. I want to say though too, as we're trusting the process today, I'll just let you know, this is the coarsest thing I've stuck in the Great Guts Adventure. So if you're processing this day and you're cursing my name, I just want you to know, this is as coarse as we got in the Great Guts Adventure this year. Aaron's vibe with Icelandic is that Icelandic has its place, but it has a small place. That's how he feels about Icelandic. I disagree. I just love this. I want it in all of my places, but I know there's a lot of people out there that feel like he feels, but hey, we're on an adventure and I'm your guide. And as we go on our adventure with your guide, we're going to play with all of these lovely things. So see, there we go. We're mixing them together. When I say spin this appropriate for this breed, you know how we talk about with long wool, it's very easy to over twist the long wool and get rope. But if you spin long wool correctly, you get these soft, beautiful drapey yarns. But within the spin, we can really change things. And sometimes that's what we want to do. Sometimes we're spinning for a warp and I'm not spinning for a warp. I don't weave, but like some people are. And so they're on purpose doing different things to that spin, in order to achieve, because it's going to be used in a process somewhere else. Or when I'm spinning for socks, I add a ton of twist to my ply every single time. I really, really overply my sock spins. It's what I like. I think they hold up better. I do high twist ply every time when I'm spinning for socks. Sometimes we're on purpose, not mismanaging. We're just curtailing that fiber to be the best that it can be for its intended use. Icelandic, let's talk, okay? I will take this fiber and spin a lopi. Lopi would be a very low twist single. That's what I'm talking about. So a single is that first, when you're first loading your bobbin or you're first loading your spindle, you have a singles. And then you take that later on, and what most of us do is we ply it. We go the other direction and we ply our singles together. And now we have a 2-ply yarn or a 3-ply yarn or a chain plied yarn or a cable ply, whatever we're doing, we plied. This one, don't ply it. You spin this very, very low twist single and you take that and that's what you work with. That's what you knit with. That experience, that method of creating yarn from this is what does the best thing for this yarn, okay? Because when you take this tog here, this wiry tog, we can call it that. This is a feature of Icelandic, not a flaw. Oh, we do love Freya's gray and silver. When you take that from this fleece and you give it this low twisting spiral, I'm talking like, now imagine this was carded properly. We're barely adding a twist. What we've done is we've taken everything pointy and we've created like a wind funnel with it, like that kind of swirl like this. If I was then to take that same thing and ply it, now I'm taking all that tog and I'm bending it like that. That's what's stabbing the crap out of me, like bad. Will the vortex, the soft, gentle, like where we're bending that fiber along the way, still stab me? Absolutely, but not like it would if I applied it. What Icelandic will also do, listen to me selling this to the cheap seats. What Icelandic will also do is break in over time. And this is something that other wools don't do. But that tog, so Icelandic has a penchant to felt. This is when I always tell people when you're washing it, oh my gosh, don't even look at it. Don't even look at it. Get it in the bath. Don't look at it. Like, it's going to be like, oh, you looked felted. Like, Icelandic loves a good felt moment. This is awesome if you are a felter. This will save you so much time and effort because it's just going to do all your work for you. But that's actually a feature in your finished yarn in the sense that that tog is going to do its, as you're wearing it, it's going to work its way back into your fabric. And you are going to be you're going to be like wind resistant, water resistant, and super warm in a lightweight garment because it's not been plied. We haven't weighed it down. That's why these have become lopapesas. I'm saying this again with my Canadian accent, forgive me, which is a very popular sweater style in Iceland where it's just solid piece, top down, no seams. And that's like an outerwear, a winter jacket vibe there because it's doing all of these miracles, all these things we're buying Gore-Tex for, this fleece can do on its own if you put both coats together and maybe wear a cotton underlayer because it's going to stab you. This is what I'm talking about, the utility and the function that I really respect and appreciate in this wool. Is it hairy and scritchy? Yes. Is it unruly when you're carding it? Makes you fear that you're a terrible carder? Yeah, actually. Yes. Can it be a mystery to work with? Yes. But if you go for it, you are rewarded. And if you do what it wants to do, what it's meant to do, this is an absolutely remarkable, unbelievable fiber. I have a lopapesa that I knit years ago, and it's been worn regularly enough that what I'm wearing now doesn't even need a cotton underlayer. It's just soft because these all worked their way in. And I can wear that out in 15 below and I don't have to put anything on top of it. I'm warm. My hands, neck, face, whatever isn't covered isn't warm. I'm warm in that. It doesn't cut through. It's awesome. So there's that plus my origin stories. This was the first breed of fleece I ever worked with and all I worked with for almost 2 years. My cousin quit school and got a flock, decided he was going to be a farmer. Or he graduated. He didn't quit. He graduated and then decided he was going to get a flock, and he got Icelandics because he's efficient. They're a triple breed, milk, meat, and fiber. And so he got some Icelandics. They're prolific mothers, breeders, because they're primitives. And that's one of the things we know about primitive breeds is they have lots of babies, often triplets, stuff like that. And so from a financial standpoint, smart sheep to get, right? They also are disease resistant. There's a lot of diseases some sheep breeds can get that Icelandics don't get. They're kind of like a little powerhouse unit in like these little sort of like quirky, I don't want to call them mean sheep, but they're kind of like, they're almost like if Dutton was a sheep. Like they're kind of like odd. Like they have these fun little, like they're zippy or something. They're zesty. And so I love this because this is what I learned to wash on. This is what I learned to process, card on, and what I learned to spin on. I was spinning Lopi before I was ever plying. That was the first thing I learned because I wanted to do best by this fleece. So there it is. You guys have just heard my entire data dump of why I like this fleece. You are allowed to not like this fleece. My husband doesn't like this fleece. He knows I love it. But as we are on the Great Guts adventure, your guide has deemed it worthy for you to explore. So now, with that said, before we get into processing it, I want to read some of these comments. Am I about to read Icelandic? Hate or let's see. I got invited to Montana. That's fun. Okay. I just added day 3 to my shawl last night. You crushed the melt. Thank you, Shannon. Appreciate. It's tapping back into the way humanity used to be connected to the land. I'm assuming that was us talking about knowing our shepherds and what we're wearing and everything. Absolutely agree. Okay, we read the Nighthawk. Today's GGAs from Megan scares me, but in a good way. That's exactly how you should feel. Embrace that fear and try it out. At the end of the day, this is 25 grams. So if you hate it, now you know. Like this is something. This is something to experience, even if what you experience is displeasure, right? And then you'll know, and you'll maybe you'll be on team Aaron, where you suffer it because you know what I mean? Like you can understand and appreciate what the breed does, but maybe it's just not for you. And it is such a little amount. Also, a really great way to practice alope, because other wolves will never be as dialed into practicing alope than this. Like this is just meant for you to practice alope if you wanted to try it. And then if at the end of the day you tried processing it, you tried spinning your lope, you have that experience under your belt and you kind of just shelf it, compost it, give it away, you got everything from this that you can. And I think that's super valuable. So Linnea laughs 8. Was confused by today. Haha. Lol. Icelandic is fun. I have a small amount of Icelandic fleece. A friend gifted me. I'm scared to process it. Oh, it is washed. Icelandic is on my wish list. Hey, there we go. Icelandic doesn't bother me either. I'm a sensory seeker, LOL. Me too. Something about it buzzing against my skin all day I like. Isn't that weird? Like, okay, there's other things like hoodies with too high of a neck that touch my neck all day. Get out of my face. I hate you. I can't wear this hoodie. But an Icelandic sweater, almost like brushing me all day. I'm like a little bit of spittle and drool. We got some drool going on. Go for it. Icelandic is such a joy to process. Oh, just mix them together. Yep, that's what we're doing. Aaron is right. Sorry, Melly. Laugh emoji. Giselle, did you get great guts? I'm sorry, I can't keep track of what everybody got. Did you get this? Are you going to gift it? Or are you going to do it? I think you should do it. I think you should get that experience. I combed some Tog and it made for a beautiful glossy drapey yarn. It was a lamb fleece, so not too rough. True. Let's talk about that too, guys. Let's talk about what kind of Icelandic we're looking at here, because I have processed like 100 of these fleece, more. And so way more. And so I could tell you where I'm landing, where this one lands, okay? I can't wait to try carding the Icelandic. I will learn to make lope yarn. I'm not great with low twist singles, so this is a great opportunity to practice. This is an amazing opportunity to practice. Even if what you make is the worst, you experienced it, you practiced it, you've got that, you've learned something. So you've taken on experience points. We love experience points. Same, makes me feel serene. Maybe that's the word. Okay. So we've talked, okay, all right. So there's a mix. This is what I would expect from this day, where everybody went in for the Romney. And I told you guys, like, this was going to be this is a free day. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not hard to please people with a Romney. This one's going to be way more polarizing. And this is what makes it so much fun. So let's talk about what we got here. The coarsest of these three is absolutely going to be Cora. So Cora is coarse. Cora, she's got some extra scritch going on. She's the dirtiest of the three, for sure. So when you're picking her, like, keep that in mind. You're going to be finding varying degrees of staple length. That is Icelandic. So be mindful when what you're pulling out, because also with this fleece, if you have like a really short little bit, you're not going to notice it when it goes into the vat. You're not, like, when you actually start carding, it's not going to do maybe what you think it's going to do. Picking this one, here she is. This is our Cora here. Okay. And I'm just like I would pick open anything else. The difference is you're going to have to go back in. So like my Tog wants to come out right away. And my Thel is sort of like, she's the coarsest one, which is weird because she's got the most, I would almost say she's got quite a lot of Tog in her. But she's just a coarser feeling girl. She's got more of that, love how you were so detailed in these lore videos. Oh, good. I'm so glad you love that. Because I'm sitting here sometimes going, oh, shoot. We're going to go 2 hours today. Easily. We only got 20 minutes left till we hit that marker. And I'm still talking about Icelandic. We're on the last bit, but I haven't talked to you about the shepherd yet. Oh my gosh. All right, here we go. So this is how you would pick this. As I'm coming across, like, so here's a clump of like dirty business. We're just gonna, sure, whatever. I could also get in there with my nail and just get that out. That's what we're doing, okay? So there's Freya, and there's picking her open and getting her apart. They open up into a cloud, and then I'm gonna feed that cloud to my carter. More on that. The theme is trust the process. Here's our wing nut. I love this fleece. I love this fleece so much. So wing nut, let's try and find a lock in here. He's much longer than Freya and Cora. Here he is. I can't even, like, look at this. Look at this boy. Look at how long that is. Isn't that incredible? Look at his length. He's got a really, really beautiful color. He's got a really nice amount of tog to his thel. Sometimes on rams, the thel is like so coarse. It's like crazy wire. His isn't. Maybe it's down to the one ball thing. I don't really know. His was really, really lovely. And so I think he's maybe my favorite all over wise for an Icelandic. Isn't he just glorious? So he might be my favorite overall, but I really do love the color of Freya so much. Like, I love her color. And again, Icelandics come in like every color, all of the colors. Every all is the colors Icelandic come into. So here would be my cloud just from wingnut. That's kind of where I would arrive for the carter, to that place. Okay. He's lovely. I would say he's pretty typical Icelandic. So you know how I gave you like the world's best example of border Leicester, or we have like a super soft special. So I would call this to be what you're going to commonly find out there in the world. So if you're processing wingnut and you're liking this would be like, if you just put a shot in the dark, just throw a dart at the board for Icelandic, you're getting something like this. I would call him to be and typical is good, okay? This isn't typical bad, or, oh, I didn't pick you the most special Icelandic in the world. This is very much, in my opinion, like what you get when you work with Icelandic, and why I love it so much. So just for your standard of expectation. And then here we have our girl Freya, who is like, holy moly, the raw fleece on this babe. She looks, okay, that's the fun thing about Icelandic too. They look very much the same, raw and washed. Raw fleece to wash fleece is kind of like the same thing. Like they really don't have a huge alteration there. So she's a lot shorter than wingnut. She's longer than Cora. Her coloring is just stupid pretty. She is so pretty. Not as open and fluffy as wingnut. He's probably, if I had to judge for like the nicest one, he's my nicest one. But it's cool that you guys get to see a whole range, especially since a lot of you are never going to touch this fiber again in your lives. So, okay. So her thel is quite short. So we're getting a little bit more of that going on. So here's what happens when you process this. Oh, yeah, let's talk about that. We'll talk about, we'll talk about what I chose to blend with it. Where did my blob go? Obvious choice for an Icelandic for blending. Weirdly enough, to me, is a halo. But usually like an alpaca, an Icelandic alpaca. Next to that would be an Icelandic silk. It depends on what do we want to lean into. Do I want to lean into the tog, or do I want to lean into the thel? Do I want to talk like which part of this fleece? Because this is a dynamic fleece. It's doing different things. And with the way we process it, it's doing them simultaneously, but it's doing different things. Where are we leaning when we want to process this guy? So if I want to lean into sort of the drape and the strength and the shine, there is shine here. There is luster. Look at that. There is luster in Icelandic in the tog, okay? If I want to lean into the luster, if I want to lean into the strength, if I want to lean into the way that it's going to lay down and behave, and etc. There's that shine again for anyone who doesn't see it. I'm going to add silk to this. And what a lovely spin it's going to be. It won't interfere with your long draw. Not really. Silk can be a little slippy. So if we're kind of going to try our lopey, I wouldn't put silk in here if I thought you were trying lopey for the first time. It would increase the slippiness, and it would definitely increase the challenge if you're new to lopey. So that's why I didn't go silk. That's why I didn't go for some of those ones that you might find more obvious for this breed. Not shiny, really. Kind of more matte. I don't know if you guys can see. That's the tog. I chose to lean into, the thel. I chose to lean into the thel on this one. And because these thels are really downy and short, I picked another kind of downy short fiber, which is yak. Yak is downy and short. So a lot of times when we're dealing with these undercoat fibers, these downy undercoat businesses, you are like this drafts like a cashmere drafts or like the bison. Obviously they all have their own character. This what's interesting about yak is it's almost textured. Like the cashmere is super smooth, the yak is not. It's got like a little bit of these like moments to it. Who's calling me? Oh, she doesn't know I'm on my live. Hold on. It's got like these moments to it where there's almost like a freckle to it kind of business, which I thought would be really lovely in the fact that the Icelandic has texture to it as well. When you are processing these though, you're going to go cloud of Icelandic. And then again, like we've talked about before, little bit of yak, open her up, feed her to it. Icelandic, yak, Icelandic, yak, Icelandic, yak. What I pulled off my carder, my super efficient carder first was sketchy as all else. I pulled that thing off the carder. I was like, ah! Like with my sampling. But I remember with Icelandic, this is a trust the process. This is one of those fleece I've referenced in earlier videos where there's sometimes a fleece you pull off on the first pass and you're like, oh, how are you going to do? Let me show you how this went down by third pass. Well, sorry, three passes in. This is how we arrived. Okay, so you might be looking at this and going, Melly, what the heck? It still looks like a hairy disaster. This is actually not a hairy disaster. This is ready to be spun into Lopi. So here's what we've got. Let's look. That's what I got on my carder. It's just all over the place. It's coarse. It's lovely. It's luscious. It's lighter than it looks. It's got a nice shine to it. Mixing those three fleece together, and I did it in all their glory. So like varying lengths, okay, is what we have going on in here. And then adding a very short down fiber to it, all right? And this is what we get. So if you have a bat like this is, again, 3 passes. Notice the complete and total absence of smooth, all right? If you have a bat like this and you're going and you're looking at it and you're like, huh, interesting. It's freckled with yak. It's got this whole, and I know buffalo was a bit of a challenge for some of you too. You didn't love the fact that the freckle, it's called the freckle factor. If you take this though and you spin this as it was meant to be spun, which is a Lopi, all of that envelops. And you're going to actually have a much smoother yarn than the bat would indicate. It's like this fleece is trust the process literally from beginning to end. You got to trust it in the top when you're leaving it alone. Don't mess with it. And then you have to come back and trust it again when you're carding it. And then again when you're spinning it. And then you're going to take that yarn off your bobbin and it's going to be doing things because you did a single and maybe you weren't exacting in your twist ratio, blah, 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 because you're learning a low twist Lopi or whatever. And you get it in this sink of warm water and you take it out, smack it on something, full it a little bit, and you are going to have such a nice yarn. It blossoms and grows in that sink. Magically, something happens, and everything after the bath is like amazing. So that's what I'm going to tell you guys. Because again, as your guide, I don't want you to take an adventure and at all ever beat yourself up like, oh, Melly achieved this and I'm not, and I hate this. But I do want to prepare you that this is a different carding experience vastly than the other things we're working on in this Advent. We are departing from the norm and we're going into something that I would think has a technique all of its own. So adventure. And that's what we're doing. If the carders spit out the long hairs on the Nubora, why does the Tog stay in when you card it with the Thel? Excellent question. Big Homie discriminates. Well, I didn't put this one through Big Homie. Big Homie would have chucked out a lot of this. I did mine on my little homie. Hold on. Ugh. Hold on to the phone. Let's see here. I have garbage bags that live right behind my little carters. So from 25 grams, what didn't get in the bag was this. It definitely did spit. This is Tog that got spat out of the Icelandic last night. I carted that up last night. To show you the full one, we obviously sampled this before we put things into the advent, but like I carted up my sample last night, and this is what was just resting just very easily without doing much scooping around on the back of my carter. So it definitely did spit out Tog, and we still have all of this left. Yeah, right? It doesn't hate Icelandic. It'll still, my carters will spit out a ton of Icelandic, but it like really hates Gotland. I don't know why. My carters hate Gotland. Okay, here we go. Maybe it's because they're slippier. This has a grip to it. This is quite a grippy fiber. So there you go, guys. Are you with me on this adventure? Are you ready to trust the process? Give it a try. If you go for it, it's not for you. Remember, cool. There's 250 breeds out there. I love this one. And other people are going to go, but now at least you have a reference point. So if you ever come across some other really scritchy fiber, you can be like, it's scritchy, but it's not as scritchy as Freya. You know, like you'll have that cool reference point for it. So, ooh, she got Icelandic all over the computer. Okay, let's look at any questions we have, because I think I covered it all. My gosh, if I did not cover it all and we've been on here for an hour and 50 minutes, then there's something wrong with me. We did spend a lot of time with the goat. Oh, I know what I wanted to tell you guys. I wanted to tell you about Aurloa Farms. I met Stephanie of Aurloa Farms in the summer when I went up to the interior of British Columbia, and I went to that Young Shepherds show, that Future Shepherds show, and I was judging fleece up there. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen these stories. And Stephanie was one of the shepherds there with kids in 4-H and has never sold wool ever. No idea what she had in regards to fiber quality. So we got to talking when we were there. We were teaching shepherds how to skirt, how to prepare fiber, how to find buyers online, what people want to know. Weight and price per pound and staple length and how clean is it and how do we kind of describe VM and all these types of things. So I was up there with Lynn from West Coast Color, and we were doing this whole thing to try and future shepherds obviously get the young ones kind of looking, but even we're talking to their parents, we're talking to older shepherds who had never considered selling their wool. There was barns of wool, sheds of wool. They all just kind of composted, burn it. I don't know, maybe there's a pelleter, but it costs me more to get my wool to the person who pellets it than it would be worth it for me to do. And we're dealing with some pretty pragmatic people. So Stephanie called us called Aaron actually, because my husband Aaron is a sheep shearer and she wanted to get the sheep shorn. And I came along at her request so we could go over what to do when it comes off the sheep. Here's the hubs with wingnut. Okay, so right here, he's getting ready to shear wingnut. She has a flock where she has some down wool, some Suffolks, and that accidentally got into the pen with the Icelandics. So then she got this Icelandic Suffolk cross, which is what I really went up there for, because sounds like a miracle in my head to take a down wool and put it with this long wool. They were miracles, but you see that horse in the background? Just behind Aaron's booty, there's a horse. The day before we went up, the horse picked up a bale and dropped it on all those sheep. And those crosses were so unbelievably contaminated. And I mean, it's a Suffolk cross. That Suffolk's not letting go any of that VM. It was a tragedy. Stephanie's messaging me like the day before. She's like, oh my gosh. She's like sick to her stomach. She can't believe it because I was coming specifically for those ones. Those are the ones I really wanted to see because I love a cross. I love a cross. And I was so excited for these crosses, and they just got hammered with VM. It was really brutal. And they were green. They were literally green with VM. We were able to, out of I think the 5 or 6 that she had, we were able to get a solid big bag of fiber. We just really went through it, her and I. So I will have it and I will process it and I will stick it into the shop. But I didn't get what I wanted from that. But here he is shearing. It was such a beautiful day. Her farm is such a nice one. And here he is shearing Freya. So that's how that's what we're seeing there. See, if you're looking just at that, you're thinking you're looking at fine wool, because all we're seeing from this angle is the undercoat. We're seeing how soft that undercoat is. Very low micron. It's very soft. It's just that by contrast, the Tog is very coarse, very high micron. Like I'm talking 40, 45. Like we're coarse on that Tog. And so when you get those two together, all we're feeling is the coarseness. We're missing that. All of that exists within the fleece. So this is hubby shearing these sheep. He shore the 3 that you guys have in this bag today. And then I went over them all with Stephanie in extreme detail. And so that way, the next time she shears, she can try to sell this wool to hand spinners by giving hand spinners the information that they want to have, right? And by also, she needed to know, like, was her flock good? That's what she kept saying, like, but is this good? Is this fiber good? Like, would a hand spinner want this? And I'm like, well, Icelandic is always a hard sell for hand spinning. It is. Let's just be real. It is. We all, as much as we love the diversity, we want to travel around the sheep world and try all the things. I mean, no one's vying for herdwick next to skin. No one's running out there to find a caracool and get that one, right next to my scalp. Like, we do love our soft wools. Let's just say it. We're creatures of comfort. That's what we're all looking for. And this isn't comfortable, like for the average person. So I did give her that kind of talk. I said, there's people like me out there who do seek out beautiful Icelandic. Absolutely. And there's a lot of us. I go, broadly though, you're not going to move it like someone's going to move a CVM. You're just not. Like, that's just the truth. If she's asking me though, like, is this sellable? She didn't know. They're 4-H. They shave all their animals down and people are looking at the animals like haunches and its build and its musculature. I was super new to 4-H. When I went to this event, I was like, what are these people doing? And it was really interesting to learn. I only see fiber. So for me, I was like, they take all the fiber off. They're actively like cutting their little haunches into shapes and stuff. I was like, where the wall. But to them, that's not what they're there for. If a farmer though can get back some of their hay bill by selling the fleece these sheep grow, let's get that going. Let's make that happen. That's a part of the industry. And these farmers are oftentimes relying on us hand spinners, especially when mills are out of their reach because mill bills are high. And then who do they market the yarn to? Like it's always a sales thing. So in the case of Stephanie here, I got to spend the whole day on her farm with her lovely livestock guardians. Her kids were around. They have bunnies and chickens everywhere. It's all going to still be saved in a story highlight on my Instagram. If you want to go back and watch that day, that went down in October. So go watch the October highlight and you'll see us the day we were here and Aaron was shearing. You'll see the crosses too, because there's a video where Aaron he's at the barn. I come in and I show these crosses that got hit with the hay and you'll see how cute they are, the little Dutton sheep. And so you can go back and watch that on my Instagram if you're curious, October highlight. But this day was marvelous because I was able to talk to Stephanie and show her how to skirt. She'd never skirted before. And then tell her what a hand spinner wants to know. So here's what we take out of a fleece. Here's what we don't keep. Now let's weigh it, describe it, talk about this. We need a staple length. And she was down, writing all this information down, putting prices on things. I bought everything, straight up. It actually cost us money to drive up to the interior and shear sheep because I bought everything she had. I bought the whole thing. So I have all of this clip sitting in my garage, and she was so grateful. But now she's also equipped to do this herself, to market this, to get this out to hand spinners who want to get involved in this kind of wool and looking at these sort of processes, these types of sheep. So it was a really, really good day. There's an amazing story behind today's Icelandic, just in the fact that we got to hang out with a shepherd all day in her space. She's hilarious. I had a great time spending the day with her. Like 100% just real people that you get to spend time with and like, hi, nice to meet you. Let's crawl around on our hands and knees on a tarp because we don't have a skirting table and talk about these fleece for hours in the cold. It was so cold that it was freezing. My lips are blue. I'm having the best time. It keeps intermittently raining. And so we're running back and forth between her way too dark barn and then like back outside. We're dragging this tarp in and out because we want the fleece to get wet. It was such a fun day. It was so fun. And then we drove home. Me and Aaron woke up super early. We drove 4 hours to her house. He sheared, her and I skirted everything, bagged it up. I gave her a bunch of money, and him and I drove back to the coast. That's your story of Wingnut, Cora, and Freya today from Aurloa Farms. So take that with you, Great Guts Adventurers, when you're processing these things. All these people that are involved in this little farm all the way up there who's just emerging into, her fiber sales. Oh, but oh my gosh, guys, those crossbreds. What a heartbreak. I couldn't even save that. That had to go to the burn pile. I wish I could have saved it. There was no way. I took one look and I thought, crap. Like there wasn't even a part of me that thought maybe I could save it. Nope. That would have been way too much of a toxic relationship. There was no saving it. No comb in the world was going to save what that horse did to those sheep. It was so bad. But I have a bag. So I'm happy for the bag. Okay. Let's talk and just make sure we're going to jump off here. Okay, guys? I'm just going to check over questions to make sure that I'm not missing anything. Okay, Unicorn Fluff's having a conversation about her breeding. We got some stites off in the chat. We love it. Kind of nervous. It'll be fun to try. I've never felt Icelandic locks in person. Just hold on to your butt. It is what it's supposed to be. I'm taking notes or wisdom for processing each gut stay. Learning. Okay. That does my heart good to hear that. I'm so glad. Wow. Freya. Icelandic can blend nicely with a lot of things. I just knit mitts out of an Icelandic merino and alpaca blend. I love Icelandic mitts with my whole heart. I love Icelandic anything. Looking. Okay, I think I got everything. 10 a.m. Tracy, got some Caracool, scared to process. I have Caracool literally from Wool Yoda's teaching collection. And so it's like the best you're going to see. Holy moly. I'm out. Like, that's too much for me. I'll have to show it to you guys. I'll have to show it. Emily fought hard for that one to be in the Great Guts Adventure. And even I was like, no, that's too far. Like, that's too far. That's not the adventure we want to go on. Okay. So I think we've talked about it. All right. Do you prefer worsted? Are you talking to me? Woolen all the way. If that question was for me and not for somebody else in the chat, just FYI, I am team woolen so hard. So hard. I am a proud one-trick pony. Super proud. I dialed into long draw because Icelandic was the first thing I ever spun in my life. First thing, Icelandic singles. I dialed into long draw. I can long draw across the room unsupported if I need to, okay? Now that's all I do. It's all I do. And when I do venture out, I might venture into a continuous backward draft. I ain't short forwarding nothing. No. Sometimes different breeds or blends or braids make me short forward, and I am just like, I'm not having a good time. It's like watching a thriller, going to a scary movie. I'm not having fun. This is supposed to be my entertainment time. I'm not having a good time. I am scared. I am stressed out. I'm sweaty. I don't like it. That's how I feel when I'm spinning certain fibers that make me short forward them. And I want to like respect the breed, similar to how I'm telling you guys that if you spin Icelandic the way it's supposed to be spun, you have the best possible outcome. I want that for other breeds, but then I got to short forward these suckers. Get out of here. I don't want to do that. Okay, there it is. Emily needs to make a great Grinch Guts adventure. Great Grinch Guts adventure to give us real challenges. Oh, we'll call it the Punisher or something like that. Okay, I think that is enough talking today. I did start a few minutes late, so technically this is still going to be just a 2 hour, just a little 2 hours of straight up talking in the wool room about all of these things. I am super glad to be here. I love this. I'm only stopping because it feels appropriate to stop. Believe me, I could keep going. So I want everyone to know this is my joy. There is no tax in this for me. There's no personal or emotional Carter tax in being here every day. I love it. I love it so much. And I love that you guys are here. Thank you for being invested in 2 hours of Wool Talk. What a great, fun, awesome thing when we find other people in that same kind of like-mindedness that all enjoy the same thing. And then we get to just like go crazy with it, like way too deep. I love it. I love it with my whole heart. So I'm going to go get hot coffee. This sucker is frigid. Take that, Nicole. I'm going to go do some show notes. I'm going to go do some knitting. I'm going to go lay down with those goodish boys. And I hope you guys all have the Saturday you want to have. That's what I hope, that you have exactly the Saturday you're hoping for. And for some of you, it's way later in the day. For me, it's still early. I'm still in the morning. I'm going to go embrace this sucker. And I'll see you back here tomorrow for day 7. We're going into the last half. We're approaching the end, the finish line. We have a new fleece for Delightful. Dang, I can't wait. I can't wait. Every year there's the one that I really want to tell you guys about. This is my one. I can't wait to talk about this little unit we're about to go into here. Super good. We're going to meet a new solid color in our Dreamland. And Delightful. Great Guts Adventure. I got stories. We got stories for the Great Guts Adventure tomorrow. Going to be so good because it connects. It connects. I gotta go. I gotta stop. I gotta go and I gotta stop. Okay? Okay, bye.